So hello and welcome everyone to this tutorial session. In this video, we will understand how we can utilize the string data type in Python, and we will also discuss some common string operations that we generally utilize in Python. So we start off this video by discussing what is string data type. After discussing the string data type, we will jump on to the operations, and first we will discuss how we can implement indexing and slicing of string. After this, we will understand the immutability property of string. Next, we will discuss what are escape sequences and how we can use it. After this, we will discuss some of the common operators that we can use with the string data type. And in the last, we will discuss some of the basic and common string methods. So without any further delay, let's jump on to our first topic. So if I talk about string, irrespective of any programming language, a string can be defined as a series of characters. Now what is a character? A character on the other side is just a symbol, and this symbol can either be a digit, letter, or any punctuation mark. So in the same way, we have string data type in Python. So strings in Python are also the sequence of characters. So basically when we define some set of characters together, it forms a string. So here you can see this characters. We can say characters here is just a string type value. And in the same way, here A can be considered as a single character. So it will be a character type value. Now to define a string in Python, we simply need to define a series of character either in a single quote or in a double quote. However, we can also utilize triple quote to define multi-line string, but it is mostly used for docstring in Python. Still, if we want, we can use triple quotes as well to define a string in Python. So let's discuss an example on how we can use these single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes to define a string type value in Python. So let us look at this first example. In this example, first we have defined this first name variable, and we have assigned this string type value to it. And to define this string type value, here we are using single quotes. After defining the first name, we are defining the last name variable. But this time to define its value, we are using double quotes. And in the last, we have this info variable. Now to define the value of this info variable, we are using triple quotes and we are defining the string value in it. Now note that this string value is a multi-line string value. Now to define any multi-line string, we have to use triple quotes. So we cannot do this by using single or double quotes. Now after defining these three different variables, we are using the print function to print the value of each variable. So we will get the value of first name, last name, and info. So let me execute this cell, and here you can see the result. So first name is David, last name is Beckham, and this is the small information related to David Beckham. So in this way, we can define string in Python. Now let's move to our next topic, and let's start discussing about indexing and slicing in Python. Now in Python, we can fetch single as well as sequence of characters from a given string with the help of indexing and slicing. So if I talk about indexing, indexing is a simple process of fetching individual or single elements from a given value. And slicing, on the other hand, is the process of fetching sequence of elements together. But we need to remember one thing, that we can perform this slicing and indexing only on sequence type data. For example, list, tuple, range, and string also is considered as a sequence type data. So we can perform indexing and slicing on string. Now let us start by discussing about indexing in Python. Since strings are ordered series of characters, it means they can be indexed. Now we use indexing to fetch a single character from the given string. Now to index a string in Python, we just need to specify the name of the string type value followed by the integer type index number. Now this index number should be specified in the square brackets. Moreover, the index value in Python always starts with 0. And the last index value will always be 1 less than the length of the string. So here you can see an example. So we have defined this string variable and we have defined this value to it, string type value JMs, using the double quotes. Now if we talk about the index related to this string value, so it will something like this. So the index will start with 0. So the character J is at index 0. So in the same fashion, character A is at index 1. M is at index 2, E is at index 3, and S is at index 4. Now here is the syntax to index any string, so first we need to define the name of the string. So we have defined this string variable, and then to index it we are using this square brackets. Within the square brackets we are defining the index number. String at index 0 will be j, string at index 3 will be e, so this is e at index 3. And in the same fashion Python also allows us to use negative indexes. So what will be negative index? So the negative indexes will start from the last character and it will move towards the first character. So the character s is at index -1. In the same way character e is at index -2 and j is at index -5. So if we try to index the string at -1 position, it will return s. Now just like fetching the single character, we can also fetch sequence of characters, which is also known as a substring. So we can fetch a substring from a given string by using slicing. So for slicing, we need to use the slicing operator. So the slicing operator in Python is colon. Now for slicing, we need to first specify the name of the string value, and after the string value we need to define the starting slicing character and the ending slicing character. But one thing here we need to remember is the ending character which we define while slicing will be excluded from the result. So here you can see an implementation. So again, James is a string type value stored in this string variable. Now the positive and negative index related to this James value will be same. How we can slice this value now? Now what we were doing in case of indexing, we were defining only single index value. But for slicing, what we are doing, we are using colon in between and we are defining two values. So very first value in the square bracket is the starting value, and the last value after the colon, or we can say after the slicing operator, is the ending value. So here we are slicing the string variable and we are slicing it from position 2 to 4. So what it will return? So it will start from index 2. At index 2 we have m. So m, here is m. After 2 it will move to 3. So at index 3 we have e. So here comes e. Next is the index 4. But in slicing, the ending character is excluded from the result. So here 4 will not be considered and these two value will be returned. Here you can see this string from index 2 to 4 is me, and this is slicing. In the same fashion, if we slice our string variable from 0 to 3 index, it will return jam. So at index 0 we have j, at index 1 we have a, and at index 2 we have m, and this index 3 will be excluded from the result. Now let us discuss an example related to both indexing and slicing. So here you can see an example. So what we are doing in this example, first we have defined this email variable and here is the value of this email. So it is a string type value which we have defined using the double quotes. So it is hello@pythonguides.com. After this, what we are doing, we are trying to index the first character. So here is the name of the variable email followed by the square brackets. In this square brackets, we need to define the index. So we want to index the first character. So we will define the index as 0. After this, in the same fashion, if we want to index the last character, we can use negative index. So here is the name of the variable email, square brackets. Within the square brackets we have defined -1, so it will return the last character. Now let's look at slicing. So here we are slicing from index 0 to 5. So here the fifth character will be excluded from the result. Now we can also use negative index value in slicing. So here you can see we want to start with sixth index, but we want to end the index at -4. So this -4 will be calculated based on the negative index. So -1 is m, -2 is o, -3 is c, -4 is this period. So s will be the last character of this slicing. So here you can see another example related to negative indexes for slicing. So here we are slicing from character -10 to -4. So it will again -4. We know that for -4 the last character in the result will be s. So s will be at -5, e will be at -6, d will be at -7, I will be at -8, u will be at -9, and g will be at -10. So the result for this -10 index to -4 will be guides. Now let me execute this whole cell to see the result. So very first character in the given string is h. Yes, it is true. We got our first character. So the last character in the string is m. So we got that as well. In the same fashion, we were slicing from 0 to 5. So 0 to 5 result is hello. And then we are slicing from 6th character to, we can say, 18th character, or we can simply say -4. So the result for that was Python guides, and slicing from -10 index to -4 was guides. So with this, I hope indexing and slicing is clear to you. Now we will move to our next topic, and we will discuss about the string immutability. So till now, we have seen how we can fetch characters and substring from a given string value. But can we change certain values? So like what we were doing in indexing, we were fetching a single character from a given string. So can we change certain values using that? So the answer to this question is no. This is because string in Python are immutable in nature. It simply means we cannot change the value of a string once it is defined. But don't worry, we can either delete the entire string using the del keyword, or what we can do, we can reassign some new string value to the string variable. So let us discuss one example related to this string immutability property. So here you can see the example. In this example also, we have this email variable and we have defined this value. But here we have made one small mistake. So instead of writing @, we have put this hash sign. Now if I try to use indexing to change the value of hash to @, it will simply return me an error. So here you can see an error. Str object does not support item assignment. So we cannot change any substring or character value in a given string. What we can do, we can reassign the value. So if I reassign email to this new string value where I have defined @, so this new value will be reassigned to this email variable. So let me print this function. So here you can see we got our result, no error. Or what we can do, we can delete that string object. So how we can delete that? For that we generally use the del keyword. We need to first define the del keyword followed by the name of the variable. So we want to delete this email variable. So let me execute this. But one thing we have to remember, after deleting the variable, we cannot access it again. So if we try to print this email again, it will return an error. This is because we have deleted it, and the Python interpreter will not be able to find this email variable in the memory. That's why this error has been returned. Now let's move to the next topic and let's understand about the escape sequences. Now there will be many instances when we want to use some character in the string, but it is not that easy to use all the characters. So for example, we want to use double quotes in a string. So double quotes are simply used to define a string. Using that within a string which is defined using double quotes, it will be very difficult. As a result, we will only get an error. In the same fashion, what if we want to use backslash? So in that case also, the Python interpreter will return an error. Now to overcome such difficulties, we utilize escape sequences. So as the name specifies, a escape sequence is a set of characters which helps to add some special character within the string. Now to use the escape sequence, we use backslash followed by the character that we want in the string. So this is the list of escape sequences which are available in Python. Now if we want to use single quotes, then we will use this backslash single quote escape sequence within the string to get a single quote as a string value. Then in the same fashion, if we want double quotes, we will use this backslash followed by the double quote. Now if we want backslash in our string value, then we need to use this double backslash. Now in the same fashion, if we want to print a new line, so instead of using empty print function, we can use this backslash n to print a new line. Now what if we don't want a new line, we want some space? So in that case, we can use backslash t for horizontal tab space. In the same fashion, we can use backslash v for vertical tab space. So these are the set of escape sequences which are available in Python. These are some more. So you will get the complete list of escape sequence in the corresponding document of this video. Let us discuss certain examples related to them. So here you can see some basic examples. We are using print function to print string values. Now in the print function also, to define the string value, we have to use either single or double quote. So here in the first one, what we are doing, we are printing this string value. So first is this Python. Then after Python, we have defined this backslash b. So backslash b is used for backspace. So here you can see after Python, we have given some extra space. So we have defined this backslash b, and then we have defined guides. So when we basically execute this print statement, it will remove this extra space between them, and Python guides will be printed together. Now next, here we are using the print function, and in the print function first we have defined this hello followed by this backslash n. So as I told you, backslash n is used for printing the new line. So after hello, a new line will be there, and in the new line everyone will be printed. After this, we have defined this print function, and within this print function we are using this backslash single quote, and in the last print function we are using backslash double quote to print this quote given by the creator of Python. So let me execute this complete cell. So here you can see the results. So for the first print function, we got this Python guides as a result. For the second print function, we got this hello new line everyone. So this is the result from the second print function. After this, what's up everybody string is printed out using the third print function, where we are using backslash single quote to print this single quote value, and in the last we are use this backslash double quote to print this double quotes value in this string value. Now there are many escape sequences. You can explore them and use them based upon your requirement. Now next, let's understand about certain operators which we can use with our string type value. In Python, the string type values are incredibly special. This is because Python allows us to use the plus operator as well as multiply operator on strings. So the role of a plus operator is to concatenate two or more than two string values, and the multiply operator on the other side can be utilized to multiply the same string value multiple times. Now this thing we can understand better with the help of an example. So I will jump on to my example. So let's first discuss about the plus operator. The plus operator is simply used to concatenate two string values. So here you can see one example. So what we are doing in this example, first we have taken two string values as an input from the user. So here what we are doing, we are using the input function to take input from the user. Then we are explicitly converting the input into string value. So for that, what we are doing, we have put this input function within this str function. And in the same fashion, we are taken last name as an input from the user. Now after taking the input, what we are doing, we are defining the full name. So for this, what we have defined, first we have defined first name, then we are using this plus operator. So first we are concatenating this first name with an empty space, then we are concatenating this empty space with the last name. So basically when we print this full name variable, then first name and last name will be printed out with a space between them. So let me execute this cell. Let me enter the first name. So I will simply put Paul as my first name and Walker as the last name, and when I hit enter, it will return the full name as Paul Walker. Now let's discuss about the next example related to multiplication. So for this example also, what we are doing, first we are taking a string type value as an input from the user, then we are taking an integer type value as an input from the user. So what we will do, we will first take string value as an input, then we will take an integer value as an input, and then we will multiply that string value with that integer value, and that string value will be repeated that multiple times. So here you can see we are calculating result. In the result, we are multiplying this integer type num variable with this string variable, and in the last we are printing out the result. So let me execute this cell. So if I put Python guides as my string value, hit enter, and I want to repeat this Python guides 3 times, so I have put 3 as my integer value and hit enter. Here you can see the final result. So Python guides is repeated 3 times. So now I hope using plus as well as multiply operator is clear to you. Now let's move to the next topic. Now other than all these operations that we have discussed earlier, Python also facilitates many built-in methods related to strings, and each of these built-in function have some different functionality. So these methods can be used to perform different type of operations on the string. Now let's discuss some few basic string methods. So first is the capitalize method. Now this capitalize method, what it will do, it will capitalize the first character in the given string. Then there is count method. Now this count method, what it will do, it will count the number of times a substring appears in the string value given between the start and the finish index. In the same fashion, we have find method. Now this find method, as the name specifies, this find method is used to find a substring value from a given string, and it will simply returns the location of that string, or we can say that index of that string starting index. Then there is all num, which will check whether the string consists only alphabets or digits. Now when we use this method, the result will be true if the string consists only alphabets or digits, and else it will return false. Then there is alpha method. Now this method will return true if all the characters in a given string are alphabets, else it will return false. So in the same fashion, there are many methods. So is lower is used to check whether all the characters in the given string are in lowercase or not. The is numeric method is used to check whether the characters given in the string are numeric values or not. So there are basically many string methods. Now if you want to explore all of them, let me tell you how we can do that. So to assess all the string methods, what we have to do, we have to first move to our Python shell. So here I have opened my command prompt. In the command prompt, to open the Python shells, I need to type Python and hit enter. Now I am within my Python shell. Now to list out all the methods related to string, we have to use this command. So first I have to use this dir function, and within the dir function I have to define this str class. So when we define string type data in Python, all that type of values belongs to the str class. So what we are doing with this dir function, we are trying to assess all the methods related to str class. So if I hit enter, you can see it has returned a list, and all these things within the list are methods related to the string type data. Here we can see capitalize is there, case fold is there, center is there, count is there. In the same fashion, there are many methods. Now if you want to assess information related to any single method, how we can do that? For that, what we will do, we will use the help function. So first I will type help. Within the help function, first we need to define str, then we need to define the period, or we can say dot. After the period, we need to define the method for which we want the information. So for example, I want information related to find, so I will write help. In the parentheses, I will define str dot find and simply hit enter. So here it has returned this description related to this method. So this function returns the lowest index in the string s where substring sub is found. So it will tell you all the information related to this. So s here is the string, sub here is represents substring, and in the find function we need to define the substring that we want to find, the starting value, the ending value, and this function will simply return an integer type value. So it is showing this int, and if this method fails to find the substring, then it will return -1. So here you can see all the information is given. Now let us discuss some examples related to this string methods. So here you can see the example. In this example, first we are taking a string type value as input from the user, and we are storing it in the string variable. After this, what we are doing, we are using the lower method on the string type value which we have taken as input, and we are storing it as lowercase underscore string. So what this method will do, it will change the case of all the characters to lowercase. So if there is any uppercase letter in the given string, then it will change it to lowercase. After this, what we are doing, in the same fashion, we are using the upper method. So the upper method is the reverse of lower. It will change all the characters to uppercase. And then what we are doing, we are using the print function to print these two values. So if I execute this cell, now here I have to give an input. So I will input Python guide. Now here you can see P is capital and G is capital. All other characters are in lowercase. So if I hit enter, so in the lowercase string, you can see all the characters are in lowercase, and for uppercase, all the characters are in uppercase. Now let's discuss the next one. So in the next one, we have defined this string, and we have defined this string value. Code is more often read than written. So this is our string value. We have defined it. After this, what we are doing, we are using the split method. So what this split method will do, it will split each character in the given string in the form of list. So when I print this new string, you can see we got this result. So each word in the given string has become a separate item in the list. Now next, if I use this join method on this list type value, then what it will do, it will change it from list back to the string type value. So here what we are doing, we are using this method on an empty string value. So we are using the join method, and within the join method we have passed this new string. So this new string value is this which we got as a result, and we are reassigning its value back to the new string variable, and in the last we are printing it out. So if I execute this cell, you can see this result. It has been converted from list back to the string type value. Now let's discuss one more example. So we have discussed about find method earlier. Let's use that. So here what we are doing, so we are using previous string value only. Code is more often read than written. So this is our string value, and then we are taking a substring as an input from the user, and we will return the position of that substring if it is found within the given string. And for this task, what we are doing, we are using the find method. So now we know the find method will return the starting index of the substring. So we have stored this in the index variable, and then we are returning it. So let me execute this cell, and I want to find, let's find more substring from this given string. Let me hit enter. Now this more word is at index 8 in the given string. So now this 8 is the starting index. So if we see, C is at index 0, O is at index 1, D is at index 2, E is at index 3, then at index 4 we have an empty space, then I is at index 5, S is at index 6, then again at index 7 we have an empty space, and M, which is the starting character of more, is at index 8. So it has returned index 8 as the result. So with this we have come to the end of this tutorial session. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.